I've had family members who've had teenage pregnancies, and, you know, there is this sort of, you know, it could go either way, right? It's like you succumb to this whole victimization of your circumstance, or you're kind of like, okay, in high drive, and you're going to start something. And they thought of it, my one particular cousin thought of it as like, well, we're just starting our family early. And now they have, you know, 5 and growing, and they've got this beautiful setup. And I think that it's just a testament to her initial mindset. She was like valedictorian, all of the things, you know, so pretty similar situation.
You really can go one of two ways, and you can be like, oh, well, this is what society says, which is you're going to fail and not make a lot of money and struggle to get by, which is what everybody was telling me. Or you can say, no, why? Like, that doesn't have to be my reality. I can take control of that. So that's what I did.
Wow. Okay. And so, wow. So tell us, where and how did the whole online immersion begin?
I found the online, like at the time, 7 years ago, Facebook groups were really big, and there was a lot of people in there, and like Periscope, I can remember like starting to watch people. And so I started as a virtual assistant. So I was able to easily be like, okay, I can manage a calendar and do admin tasks easily. So I started getting clients doing that. And then I was like, booked out. And then I started doing Facebook ads for those clients and realized, okay, marketing is something that comes really natural to me. I really love it. And then that's kind of like the path of like, I went into Facebook ads. I started specializing in just that. And then I was fully booked out doing that. And by then I had my second, and I was like, okay, I have to build a team because I can't keep doing all this. And so that was almost 5 years ago. And that's when I started growing the team that I have today. And
how many people do you have on your team?
I have 24 employees and some contractors. And I don't actually do the Facebook ads anymore. You know, the day-to-day stuff. And that's been a whole new journey of growing. And I can remember, like, when I first started making money, I got up to like probably $12,000 months on my own, just like hustling, having clients. And I remember thinking, like, I could have $1 million business. Like, I never thought that was possible. I just started by just like, let's just pay our expenses and let me work from home, because I knew I didn't want to send my son to daycare. Like, that was the motivation, was, you know, I've been an entrepreneur and I can think big, but I never thought like, oh, I'd have this huge company and all these employees, at least not this soon.
Right.
I don't think I ever planned that out of like, someday I'll have this big business. It was just like, everything happened fast, and I was young, and it was survival in the beginning. And then I can remember seeing those like $12,000, $14,000 months, and I'm like, I could have $1 million business. This is only, you know, a quarter of the way there, and I don't have a team or anything. And that's when it really started to shift.
You were just doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I realized like the possibility of what I could build, and that's when things really started to change and take off. And I was building my team, and yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I just want to like go back for a second, because I think I was at you know, an online marketing conference when we first got to meet, and I see you and I see your story, and I know everyone's fascinated about like the tech stuff and like how intricate you get, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but no, her backstory is like, this is like gold for any woman entrepreneur, because you showed, you know, especially in a very boy-centric or like, you know, male-centric dominated industry, you come in and you're showing photos of you're like with your kid, your firstborn, and you're just like on the computer.
I'm like nursing on the computer.
Yeah, you're nursing. I was like, there's one photo.
There is a photo of me like nursing with a baby, and I'm typing, and we had a little tiny like master bedroom studio.
Well, and it's stuck in my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman is just like relentless. It's incredible to see. And I think that because you are obviously very well known in the marketing space, and the marketing agency has worked with a ton of really huge brands. Yet I think that, you know, there is, what I love about what you've shared is what do you think you contributed that time to? Especially in those like first 2 years of like, you're a new mama, not sleeping, figuring things out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just like the grit. Like I knew, however I got there, I didn't know the exact way, but I was going to create the success. And I did have the drive of like, I'm going to prove all those people wrong who said like, you're doomed basically because you're choosing to do this at a young age. And so But I think even without that, I would have been fine and been created that success. And for me, like when I get my mind on something, I will achieve it. Like it's sometimes how long it takes might take longer and how I get there, but I don't give up and I don't just throw in the towel. Like I won't. And so I think in the beginning, it was just like, this is my reality. We lived in it was a master bedroom, actually turned into a studio.
Because you said you weren't going to take any support from your parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't offer, but
okay.
But they wouldn't have, because that would have also been admittance like that I couldn't do it if I got to that. But they probably would have. If I got in a bad place, my parents would have supported me for sure. But I didn't want to even ask. I wouldn't have asked. Wow. So we lived in this tiny place in San Diego at the time, and we were really close to the beach, but it was like $800 a month because it was like a master bedroom that we turned into a studio, and we put like a cooking top on the patio. Like it was a total like tree house, like DIY. And you know my husband, like he does.
Oh, he's amazing.
He does
I
those
love
things.
him. Oh
so we made it work, and it was so inexpensive that we stayed there even after our son was born for 8 months, and then we moved to Northern California. But I mean, I was working in a tiny place. I remember taking calls in my car because that was the only like quiet place I could get. We obviously couldn't afford a nanny, so we would just trade like shifts during the day, and you just have to make it work. Like, you know, you have to know this is what I'm going to do, and whatever comes my way, I'm going to push through and make it work. And I think that's the biggest contributing factor to the success. And even still today, it's like things aren't all roses and great. Like there's still struggle.
Of course.
And the ability to get up when it's hard and push through is what keeps pushing me to the next level.
See you next time at the Brave Table.